At the White House. Joining me now is President Santos to talk about his country, its relationship with the U.S. under our new president, and the situation there. Mr. President, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I want to ask you first your reaction to your meeting, what you took out of it with President Trump.
Oh, it was a great meeting, and I came out very satisfied because we have a very special relation with the U.S. from a long time ago. The policy towards Colombia has been bipartisan. I myself started with President Clinton, then President Bush, then President Obama, and now with President Trump we ratified the importance that we give to our common policies, our common problems, and our common objectives. And what we did was ratify that commitment that both countries have. We are the strategic allies of the U.S. in Latin America. We're proud of that. And we decided to continue working together on many issues, the issues that concerns both countries.
One of those issues, drugs and the drug trade. The President talked about that in that news conference with you pretty forcefully.
The drug epidemic is poisoning too many American lives, and we're going to stop it many different ways. One of them will be the wall.
I talked about the wall here in the U.S. Now, just the stats, Mr. President. Colombia produced 710 metric tons of cocaine in 2016. That's up from 235 metric tons in 2013. There are stats that suggest the drug trade is increasing dramatically. How do you describe it, and what did the President press you on that?
Oh, the situation is the following. The peace process, I thought it was going to take about 3 years. It took 6. And one of the first issues that I forced the FARC to agree with is they have to collaborate in substituting the coca plantations for legal crops. But since we were 3 years late, there was this expectation that we were going to buy out the coca peasants, and they started planting. But we have in place, and I explained to President Trump and the U.S. government, a very effective policy, carrot and stick, substitution of illegal crops for legal crops. And because of the peace, we now can go there with the rest of the state, with roads, with schools, with hospitals. So it's going to be, for the first time, a durable, a permanent solution. And the stick part of it, we are doing a very effective job this year. We have so far eradicated 15,000. Our objective is 50,000. So we have, for the first time, a very unique opportunity to address this problem.
We should point out you received the Nobel Peace Prize for that peace deal with the FARC. There are critics in your country about the deal. And I guess just pointing to the metric tons of cocaine coming out, how can you definitively say that it's working?
Well, first, the coca, the fight against drugs, and it's a chain. The rest of the links of the chain, the U.S. government is the first one to recognize. We're doing extremely well. We are seizing enormous amounts of tons of cocaine. Last year was a record, 400 plus tons, and this year even more. So we're attacking the problem in a comprehensive way. But don't forget, this is a problem for both the U.S. and Colombia. And the U.S. is also responsible, because if you didn't demand the drugs, we wouldn't supply them.
Secretary Tillerson, in fact, said today the U.S. must own the problem of drug addiction. So do you agree that the U.S. has to do a better job to address demand?
We all have to do a better job. And the world has to do a better job. The war against drugs was declared by the United Nations 40 years ago, and it's a war that we have not won. That's why we have to be more effective, more creative, and in the case of Colombia, which has been the country that has suffered the most in this war against drugs of the world, we are, for the first time, because of the peace process, having a unique opportunity to at least diminish that problem substantially.
I know you talked with President Trump about the issue of Venezuela. It is collapsing. Do you foresee a situation in which the U.S. military may need to get involved there? What will happen if the U.S. does not somehow play a role in there? And I guess the real question is Venezuela on the verge of becoming a failed state?
We need to find a peaceful, hopefully democratic transition, because the worst thing that could happen is violence. Venezuela is not accustomed to violence. Colombia is the country that would have the greatest losses of any violence, because the avalanche of immigration towards Colombia would be very, very big and very difficult to control. And so we are working together with the U.S., with other countries, to force a peaceful transition. We have three objectives. One, the two sides to agree on a calendar for elections. Two, the regime to recognize the authority of the General Assembly, of the Congress in Venezuela. And third, to seek a way to liberate the political prisoners. And we're pressing for that, and we have to continue to press for that.
Quickly?
Quickly.
Very last thing, you were asked in the press conference about President Trump and his pledge to build a wall. Didn't really get an answer whether you're okay with that.
I prefer, the best wall that you can build is economic development in Central America and South America. I urge President Trump and all of the United States to look more to the South. The strategic interests of the United States are much more important in the South, in Latin America, than many parts of the world. And if you see that, then you won't need walls.
President Santos, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.